We've got people walking out of prisons. We're deporting people back to France, and then a week later they're jumping on a dinghy and coming back. And, you know, we've got these awful criminals that are coming in the country, being locked up, being deported. I mean, we're an absolute laughingstock.
Parliament erupts as Lee Anderson confronts David Lammy over his recent conduct. All right, you're not going to believe what just unfolded inside Parliament. While most people were scrolling through the usual headlines, something far more explosive was happening behind those famous green benches, something that had MPs whispering, the press gallery leaning forward, and viewers online asking, "Wait, did Lee Anderson really just say that?" Because yes, he did. And if you missed it, don't worry. Let's walk through what happened slowly, clearly, and with all the tension this moment deserves. It started like any ordinary debate, the kind where everyone expects the usual back and forth, the familiar political theater, the rehearsed lines. But then, something shifted. Lee Anderson stood up, took a breath, scanned the House, and spoke with a tone that the chamber hasn't heard from him in months. A tone that said, "I've had enough." You could almost feel the temperature in the room rise. And across from him, David Lammy, one of Labour's loudest, sharpest, most confident voices, braced himself. Because he knew the moment was coming. The tension had been building for weeks, and today, it finally snapped. The confrontation began when a previous debate involving Lammy spiraled across social media. Critics had described Lammy's tone as short-tempered, dismissive, or unnecessarily confrontational. Anderson had seen it, and according to those close to him, he felt it crossed a line for someone holding such a senior position. So today, right there in Parliament, he called it out. Not with insults, not with personal attacks, but with precision, the kind of directness that makes the House go silent. He said something along the lines of, "This place deserves better conduct. If we expect respect from the public, we must start by showing it ourselves." You could practically hear the reaction ripple across the room. Anderson pressed further, highlighting what he described as patterns of unnecessary aggression in recent exchanges, especially during debates involving younger MPs and first-time speakers. He framed it as a concern about professionalism, not politics, not ideology, but behavior. And that right there is where Lammy reacted. He rose to respond with his trademark confidence, insisting that his tone was misinterpreted, that his passion is rooted in protecting the country's democratic principles, and that he would never apologize for standing up firmly when he believes something is unjust. But it didn't end there. Anderson fired back, saying, "Strength isn't the issue. Accountability is." That line. Oh, that line. It was the moment social media grabbed, clipped, posted, and replayed. He went on to say that Parliament should set an example for younger generations watching, that MPs should show the kind of conduct we would expect from our own children. It wasn't an attack on Lammy personally. It was a challenge to his behavior in recent sessions. The chamber reacted instantly, murmurs, shifting seats, a few raised eyebrows. Even the speaker leaned forward. Because whether you agree with Anderson or not, this was one of those rare moments where an MP called out another not for policy, but for professionalism. And as expected, the reaction outside Parliament was even louder. One political columnist wrote, "This is the biggest public rebuke of Lammy's tone we've seen in years." Comments flooded X and Facebook. One user posted, "Finally someone said what needed to be said." Another pushed back, saying, "Lammy is passionate, not disrespectful. This is political theater." But the most interesting responses came from inside Westminster. A Conservative aide told a journalist, "Look, whether you like Anderson or not, he said what a lot of MPs have been whispering." A Labour insider, off the record, said, "Lammy will shrug this off publicly. But make no mistake, he definitely heard it." Reform UK supporters celebrated the moment, calling it a rare instance of honesty in the Commons. Even some neutral analysts agreed that Anderson's intervention was surprisingly measured compared to his usual firebrand reputation. This confrontation wasn't just about tone. It wasn't just about conduct. It wasn't even fully about Anderson or Lammy. It was about something deeper, something the public has been complaining about for years. The behavior of MPs inside Parliament. The shouting, the interruptions, the lack of respect. The feeling that the chamber has become more of a performance arena than a place of serious debate. Anderson's decision to confront it head-on and Lammy's strong defense of his own style represents a clash between two visions for how politics should be done. One believes in bluntness and confrontation. The other believes passion is necessary in a divided country. Both insist they're acting for the public. And where this goes next could be very interesting. After today's exchange, one thing is clear. This debate isn't over. Not by a mile. Because if Anderson sticks to his message, and if Lammy continues to defend his style, we may be looking at the start of a new conversation about what professional conduct really means in Parliament. And here's the real question that still hangs in the air. If this is just the first confrontation, how much deeper is this issue going to go? Stay tuned because this story is far from finished.